So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD, and in this video we're going to be looking at a small secret storyline within Der EISENDRACHE, which is actually talking about the story of the Wolf King. You may or may not already know, but around the map there are 4 paintings which you need to activate when you're doing the Wolf Bow upgrade quest, and it tells a story of a king that used to reign the castle. Now there is more to this than just these 4 paintings, and there's actually quite a little bit of storyline with this king, and it actually involves premise as well, which is really cool. I'd like to thank Risol25 over on the Call of Duty Zombies forum for making a topic about the story of the Wolf King. It's very useful for this video, and the images that I'll use are from his thread, so you can check that out down below in the description. But in order to get the Wolf Bow arrow to drop, you need to activate these 4 paintings in order, and activating in the correct order actually starts a story. Our first one is we can see an image of the king sat down on his throne with his 2 wolves by his side. Now it is likely that this king ruled the castle in the past, and you can see the insignia on his shield, which is now the dragon in the map at our current time, but in the past it is the symbol of his 2 dogs. Now from our 4 characters we can learn that there is a great bond between the king and his 2 dogs. They are equal, they understand one another, so much so that the insignia is of his 2 dogs, but this picture is not just a friendly family portrait. The king is actually preparing for war, and we have quotes from our characters to back this up here. Now I don't have the quotes for Dempsey, Takeo and Richtofen in this first one, but I do have Nikolai's. Dempsey says, "I've seen my fair share of war, never seen a happy ending." Takeo, "Even a great king can learn from a dog." And Richtofen, "Here is the first one, I've been looking for you." Nikolai says this when we interact with this first painting.
"Great king prepares for battle, man's best friend at his side."
Now with this second picture we can see the king on a horse as he's riding into battle. He's charging into battle, followed by one of his trusted dogs. You can vaguely see in the background of this image that there are other soldiers on horseback, so it looks like he's leading his whole army into this deadly battle. Now you may or may not recognise, but the king is actually wearing the same helmet which you can see in the mural in Shadows of Evil in the Pack-a-Punch room. Our Wolf King is fighting in this great battle with our 4 original premise version of our characters against the Apothicons. This means that the war that our king is going into is the exact great war that our characters did many centuries ago in the original premise image, which we can see in Origins. All 4 of our characters in the premise image are wielding their staffs. In this mural they are also wielding their staffs, and the king is wearing the same helmet, he's using the same sword, and he's practically in the same pose, so we can go and assume that this is the exact same war that the premise characters were fighting in as well. This is what our 4 characters in Der EISENDRACHE have to say about this painting.
"Whenever armies clash, men are lost in sea of swords. Such is war.
A man's only as strong as the friend by his side. The king has his hounds. What do I got?"
This would be number 2. Thank you.
Many died this day. Their souls cry out through the painting.
Now this third painting is probably my favourite because it just looks so freaking cool, and as we can see, we now know from that second picture transitioning to the third one that this war is 100% against the Apothicons, because you can see the weird octopus tentacles coming out of the sky, which we saw in Shadows of Evil when we unleashed the Shadow Man. You can see it emit lightning to the castle, and the entire battlefield is completely destroyed and battle scarred. It seems like not a lot of people survived with this battle. And the character quotes can help back this up, particularly Richtofen's, where he confirms the Apothicons that we saw in Shadows of Evil are exactly the same ones in this painting.
"What is that thing? We will not fight that, will we?"
They say war is hell, but this looks like a war with hell.
I have heard many tales of such creatures. I fear there may be more than just folklore.
Number 3. A personal favorite. Last time I saw this was when I picked up the key.
And this last and final picture is a pretty sad one. It's a picture of the Wolf King and he is dead. And we see someone crouched next to his body, clearly very upset that the king is dead. Now, a lot of people have assumed that this could actually be the big guy or Leroy the Giant from Buried. It looks very, very similar, but notice how this character is wearing a white dress and also has a ring on their finger. But as you can see from his shield, the king never ever lost his loyalty from his two wolves. They were always there for him in spirit, but unfortunately the Apothicons won this fight. And the character quotes are quite interesting because they make assumptions or make it sound like they actually know that fighting against the Apothicons is going to be a fight where no one is ever going to win.
This is not really an uplifting story.
Outnumbered and outgunned. Not even his big-ass dogs could protect him.
No mortal could hope to achieve victory against such evil.
And number 4. Unfortunately, dear king, battling that particular evil only ever has one outcome.
Funny enough, there is a cipher on the EISENDRACHE which makes it sound like our premise characters actually defeated the Apothicons in the Great Battle because it healed sickness from across the world, which we can assume is the zombies outbreak. Now, there is more to the story than just these 4 paintings, because once Group 935 took over the castle, the remains of the king's hounds were scattered. However, they were missing the skull of one of the hounds, which you can find when you shoot the flag above the rocket pad. Once you place that skull near the remains of one of the hounds, it actually creates the spirit of the hound, which digs in 3 spots around the castle where the king's remains were actually scattered. Group 935 were too ruthless to even want to bury this person properly, so rather than give them a proper burial, they decided to just literally sling his remains in different spots around the map. Now, this is where the love for the wolves come from with the dogs, where they will go around the map and they will find the king's remains and they want him to have a proper burial, which is why the hounds want you to return the remains of their master to his crypt and to his coffin. Once you've gotten all of his remains, he will actually reform as a skeleton in his coffin and will present to you the wolf bow arrow, which you can use to finally upgrade. Now that the king has gotten a proper burial and can now finally rest in peace, this is where the spirit of the wolf will vanish, and this is how you get your upgraded bow to become the wolf bow. The fact that the Wolf King was involved in the great battle with our premise characters against the Apothicons is what I find really, really interesting, and which is why I thought I'd bring you this, as it is quite an important part of the story. There was another person along with our 4 characters, but when we interact with these paintings, our 4 characters don't seem to have ever recalled meeting or knowing this king, unless your name is Edward Richtofen, where of course he understood exactly what was going on in these 4 paintings. But this opens the question even further on how exactly did our characters fight in the Great War. They looked exactly the same as each other, but they do not recall any of these events happening when we're playing as them in Black Ops 3. I'm sure as time passes and we get more future maps, we will understand the answer to that question, but I thought this was extremely interesting to bring to you and shows you that this wasn't just some sort of random sequence of events that you have to do, but there's actually a properly built, structured story. Let me know what you thought of this down below in the comment section, and if you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop a like rating, as I really would appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 3 zombie videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on another one soon.